in just the last 3.5 years, and I'm continuing to hire. And when the Palestinian protesters came to my county after October 7th, they got a much different reception than they did here in New York City. You see, I would not stand for any of that nonsense. So I had my K-9 unit, my mounted unit, I had our SWAT team, we had our highway patrol, and we were out there and we told the same protesters that were at Columbia University, you are not blocking our roads, you are not occupying our buildings, you are not harassing anybody, you are not committing any acts of violence in my county. And when they tried to storm one of our synagogues, they met 4 very large horses with police officers on top of it. And it was amazing how they lost their courage so fast. So we didn't allow it to happen. We told them, you want to exercise your right? Fine. Free speech. There's the sidewalk. Stay on the sidewalk, and nobody will bother you. You step off the sidewalk, our police officers will politely ask you once to get back on the sidewalk. If you do not, you will be arrested. So some of them tried it, and they got arrested, and they never came back. We have adopted in Nassau County the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. We passed anti-BDS legislation. We have a friendship agreement that we executed with Judea and Samaria. That was a good one. When I presented the agreement to my lawyers to sign off on, they said, Mr. Blakeman, you can't sign this document. I said, why not? They said it's a violation of international law. I said, I don't care about international law. I'll sign the document, and we did, and we stand firm with Judea and Samaria, especially my good friends in the Shalom, who always take me to a very fine winery every time I go to visit them. We also passed no mask legislation. So, we are a model in Nassau County for the rest of the state and the rest of the country. But my remarks today here are going to be very candid and very open. I feel guilty about it because I'm preaching to the faithful here. But what I want you to do is take what I say and go back to your communities and have that same frank conversation, that harsh conversation, that we need to wake up and realize that what Yago said is true. Our children and our grandchildren are in jeopardy. They are in danger. We have a mayor in this city that is a virulent anti-Semite and a communist. He talks about taking personal property away from people. He supports far-left groups that are anti-Israel. He supports groups that are anti-Semitic. He got elected in one of the greatest cities in the world, if not the greatest city in the world, the cradle of capitalism, with a large Jewish community. And people are going, how'd that happen? How'd that happen? It happened because we were asleep. Because we let this happen. Over the years, ignoring the anti-Semitism in our universities. Looking away at the anti-Semitic acts that happen in our communities and saying, oh, it's an isolated incident. We were asleep at the switch. And now it is time for us to wake up and realize what's at stake. Israel, they're asleep. Yes, they have one of the finest militaries in the world. The best pilots, technology. But when you think how is it possible that Israel could fail so miserably in public relations and communications in our country? How did it ever come to be that the pro-Palestinian movement would take a high road as if they were morally correct, when on October 7th, they raped women, they butchered babies, they shot innocent people, not military targets, not police officers, men and women and children. And yet we're losing the public relations war. We need to educate people in America about the wonderful democracy in Israel, how there's human rights and civil rights in Israel, how Arabs have the ability to earn a good living, 6 times the salary that they would earn in an Arab country, how we are the cradle of religion, how we are a tremendous tourist destination, how we are the keepers of the most important religious institutions in Christianity, how we need to get people to come visit Israel, not just Jewish people, but Americans, to come and see what's going on there. We are failing. That's how we got to this point. And we need to wake up in America, and Israel needs to wake up and realize that they need to win the heart and souls of America and Americans. This is no longer a battle on the battlefields of war. This is a public relations battle. How could we possibly be losing that when we have the moral high ground? So, what I'm saying to you today, I'm preaching, I know, to those of you who get what I'm saying and understand it. But we have to multiply that. This is serious business. Again, as your goal said, this is for our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren to come. We have to fight this war on 2 fronts, on the battlefield and on the field of public opinion. And we have to stand up and fight. Being a Jew in this country should not mean having to hide your kippah. Should not mean having to have 10 armed guards at your shul. This is what we have become here in America. And if we don't stop it now, it is a cancer that will spread across our country and across the world. We've already seen what's happened in London and Paris, former great cities. But all I'm going to say to you is get in the battle, fight, contribute to politicians that support what you believe in, and not in a small way, in a big way, as if your life depended on it, because your life does depend on it. So I believe in putting my money where my mouth is. So my wife Sigal and I have invested in Israel. We have an apartment under construction because we wanted to show that we are committed emotionally and financially to the state of Israel. Israel saved my wife's life. Israel and America, I should say. She never would have existed but for Operation Magic Carpet. As a Yemenite Jew, her parents would have been exterminated but for America and Israel rescuing the Yemenite Jews, bringing them to Israel, and eventually some of her family stayed there and some emigrated to Brooklyn. And they owe their lives to America and Israel. So this is a debt that I feel that we have to both America and Israel, to fight for those two great nations. So when you go back to your community, don't speak softly. Speak passionately. Be strong. Be brave. Be courageous. And if we all get in this fight, we know that we have done for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, what our parents and grandparents did for us. So God, may Hashem bless the state of Israel. May Hashem bless the United States of America.